Well, hello there, blade fans. This old sword's back, and I have a very interesting one today. There's a bit of controversy about this blade I'll get into later. I don't think it's a bad controversy, but we'll discuss it nonetheless, because it'll probably come up in some of the comments, and I'll give you my take on things. This is a brand new one, hot off the presses at Bestech. And it's a design by Koens Craft, better known as Morgan Koens Designer. He has brought us in the past the Shikari and the Togata and many of those knives that have become very popular. This one caught my eye right away, and it's mainly because of this swirl, what they call Damascus G10. Okay, it's kind of a new thing. I first saw it on petrified fish, believe it or not, and sometimes it comes in some real strong colors, red and yellow and so forth, mixed with black and with white, all that good kind of stuff. This one is black and white, or black. It's black and white, which appears to be gray. I think it's got kind of a gray matrix in there. Gives it a very interesting, almost creature-like look to the pattern. I'm going to open it up in a minute, because I know some of you are already frustrated that I haven't opened it, but if you saw the thumbnail, you saw it opened. Double rows of jimping here, double runs of jimping that are quite good. Double thumb studs, and a useful fuller to be able to finger flick it open. Look at that spatula of a blade. This is a version of a Nessmuk, an Alaskan skinning knife, or I should say Eskimo skinning knife, I think is where it came from. Don't do hunting anymore, haven't skinned in a long time, so not familiar with all of the trends there. But it is a big old wicked blade, which I think we can only call it a Nessmuk, because to call it a drop point wouldn't be 100% accurate. Call it a spear point wouldn't be 100% accurate. But it's got a big old swedge, almost like the crown of a rooster there, or the comb of a rooster. As I said, jimping real nice. And can't really put your finger out there, but if you do run your thumb long, you've got that second run of jimping there. I don't know that I'd put it out that far, because there's nothing here to interrupt your thumb between the handle frame and the blade. And the steel, by the way, is M390. M390. Some of Morgan's other designs for concept have been in 20CV, which is a comparable steel by another maker. Simple as that. But really cool the way that this frame is kind of attached and nested in there. Since we don't have a entire, how do I put this? We don't have a full titanium frame. Some of that frame is hidden inside and well lightened, as you can see, with those holes on both sides. So the titanium frame does go inside, but they did a very interesting thing with the lock bar and the handles. So I would say it's a nested frame with a frame lock. And if you know a better definition, certainly let me know. Left my knife definition dictionary in the other room, so sometimes I need some help with that. A very interesting ergonomic handle. Morgan likes to design large knives that hold well, and this is no exception. We've got a big swale in here and a little bump, a little interruption. Let's see if we see that. Nope, not on that side. We see that cut out right in there, and I know it's hard to see because of the contrast of the design of the G10, but we've got a little swoop there and a little swoop there. Real nice pivot. Bestech on one side and Morgan Koens signature with his Koens Craft crown right there. Blade steel right there. Will it focus? Should. And a really cool looking long sword-like clip with a pretty nice ramp in and out. Haven't tried it too many times. Got some pretty good flex to it. Just about right. Now you might ask, what are we going to use this for? Well, certainly it would make an interesting outdoor skinning hunting blade. And if you don't like this wild ass handle, it does come in brown micarta. I should say a kind of a canvasy micarta, but it also comes in a wild, I think, red and black G10 Damascus G10 with a black blade. When I put the link out there, you will get to see all the different variants out at White Mountain. Let's measure it up, get that part out of the way, then we'll get into some other discussion. 9 inches exactly. 4 inches, I would call it like a 395 with about a 395 cutting edge. And handle thickness right in the middle, 0.51, not bad. Let's keep it on inches to measure the blade, right about there. 0.14, which gives us 3.6 millimeter, a little thinner than I thought, but it certainly looks robust. Not thin by any means, but that's going to give you also, ooh, yes, big flat old grind with a fine cutting edge, very slicey. I can feel it wants to bite into my finger right now. Let's see. Shall we try a cutting test? Shall I venture there? Why not? I went to the other room and got some paper. Miracle of video editing. All right. This one's for Morgan. Oh, so nice. I think you'll skin with that puppy. I do think so. Let's take another look. Well, we can't look around. We've got to do the weigh-in, baby. Got to do the weigh-in. Weigh-in of the heavyweight. But is it? Is it heavy? 5 ounces. 5.07. Not bad. A little more than an ounce per inch, but hey, I don't think it's going to weigh your pocket down too much. As I was getting into before the cut and the weigh, nice titanium, yes, titanium backspacer, almost full length. At least right to that hump. Titanium clip. Question is the hardware? No, steel. Steel screws. You know what? These are looking like T6s, but pivot's definitely a T8, but without testing it, I would say the body screws are T6s. You may not like that, but that's what we've got. Here's an interesting feature. Again, hard to see because of the design pattern. We've got these scallops milled into There it is, milled into the scales on both sides. So, you know, when your finger comes there and your thumb goes there, you've got a little extra lock-in on both sides. So whether you're handling this with the right or left hand, you've got the same millwork on both sides of the knife handle. Interesting. Is the clip switchable? Good question. I don't think so, because of the clip position and the fact that it swoops in one direction, and generally when you flip that over to the other side, it's going to swoop the wrong way. They gave us a good amount of purchase here without it being sharp, as far as using that. You could roll it out, but why not roll it out with the thumb studs, or flick it out with the thumb studs? Got a massive bar there that's engaging about, gotta look past the camera to see it, 30%. Pretty good. Hardened steel insert. So rather than have titanium on M390 hardened steel, we have a hardened steel insert against the hardened M390. We'll look at it again, but let's talk a little bit about the controversy. For some reason, they're picking on this knife, this Bestech, and they're out on the Bestech Instagram site, I believe, where they first posted this. And people are screaming about the price. So what is the price? At White Mountain, this is $314. And everybody screams. But the Fairchild, a combo design, which I reviewed right there, an S35VN with a titanium handle and satin finish, is $348, and the lesser models $322. These are all White Mountain prices. They're pretty much consistent with other internet knife companies. Here is the Shikari. This is not going to be as much, and the Shikari comes in at $210 in 20 CV. That's a concept knife. Now, Concept's making some great designs. I think all these companies do exquisite work, whether you're talking Riot, Concept, Bestech, We, or Reich. Those seem to be the big companies now. How about the Ultramar Redencion? I believe that's what it is. A Chaves design, $345 at White Mountain. More if you go all titanium. This is half G10, half titanium, with an M390 blade. Okay, $345. You may say, well, you're getting so much greater workmanship from Riot. I don't know that the grinds and the fit and the finish are that much better. Certainly premium on all of these, but not bad. Some other knives that I don't have on the table, price-wise. Microtech Socom Bravo, made by Reich, $355 was today's price at the Microtech site. Reich Lamella, real hot knife, Persian, upswept point, $355. And I think it goes for a little more in the latest version that's got a black coated handle top. What else have I got listed here? Well, if you went with the Annex, or the Annex from Microtech, you're talking $450 up to almost $500. In the Buaya, a combo design by Bestech, $340. So this Lochness Did I say the name was Lochness? L-O-C-K, not L-O-C-H. L-O-C-H, a Scottish term, Loch Ness monster, right? A loch is a lake, but it's a takeoff on that L-O-C-K, as in a locking knife, right? Lochness. Nessie, maybe because she's a big one, almost 4 inches. So you pick your poison. I think we can all say we've spent too much on knives, at least at one time or another. We all have our limits. You may look at this design and say it's not desirable and therefore shouldn't be worth that. But that's just a profile, those are looks and usefulness. Can you use this knife? Would you EDC it? Would it be too much money to put in your pocket to EDC? I know people that EDC $1,000, $2,000 knives without a blink. So it really depends upon who you are. There's another size comparison again with the very large Fairchild, which is close to an inch longer, believe it or not. But slightly longer blade. I think this Fairchild comes a little over 4 inches. And for some standard comparisons, there's your Griptilian. Hey, you don't want an expensive knife? Buy a Griptilian. It's a great EDC knife. Always has been. Buck 110 has been a good EDC knife. It's a little over an inch longer than the Griptilian. Finally, the guy who's usually big on the block, none other than the Rat One by Ontario. And this Bestech Lochness, about a little over a ½ inch longer. Certainly taller, wouldn't you say, in the blade. I think the one that gives it a run for its money as far as blade height would definitely be the Fairchild. And you may like the Fairchild a lot better. This one's in the gold handle, gold titanium, gold anodized, and S35VN. But again, talking about the same bucks. What did I say? No, $348 list for this one. Not list, but street price, we say. That's what the MSRP is always going to be higher. $348 White Mountain price. $314 White Mountain price. So if you're going to cry about this one, you got to cry about that one. I think it's kind of silly. As I say, if you're into cars, if you're into bikes, if you're into computers, if you're into gaming, whatever you're into, I'm sure you've spent a little more than you should have, if it's something desirable, right? And has value for you. There's the pouch. Typical Bestech pouch, microfiber cloth, little thing in there about the knives, plastic bag, one little knife sticker, that's a kombu knife. They're big on kombu, he's their golden boy. Morgan is kind of an outlier, as he calls himself, but makes some fantastic, if you ever look at his Instagram page, look at some of the custom stuff he makes. I got a custom fixed blade on order. Hope to be showing it to you in a few weeks. Well, there you go. There is the Lochness by Bestech Knives, designed by Morgan Koens. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe.